The Boeing 747-400, one of the biggest aircraft ever to fly. But things aren't always as they seem. At 5.6 metres, don't expect to book a seat on this flight. This Boeing is the world's largest radio-controlled model of a jumbo jet, built here in Perth by Andrew Herzfeld.
It's taken 2 years, lots of hours, lots of elbow grease and lots of cups of coffee. Yeah, Sinead, part of the fun of building scale model aircraft is to replicate the detail of the aircraft as much as possible, right down to the writing on the doors.
A keen aviation enthusiast, this isn't the first model Andrew has built, but it certainly is the largest.
I've been building model aircraft for about 40 years. Started just by folding up pieces of paper and throwing them off the balcony at home, and progressed through to building very basic radio controlled models.
Andrew joined the West Australian RC Jet Association and quickly found out the sky really was the limit when it came to model aircraft.
There's a certain satisfaction out of building these aircraft. Obviously building a full-size aircraft is out of the scope of a lot of people. However, with a model, your imagination can take over.
These jets are powerful and fast. Some can fly in excess of 500 kilometres an hour. Others can perform impressive manoeuvres. Andrew says his previous project, a 4-metre-long A330, was a practice run for the jumbo jet.
There was lots of building techniques and ways to install the equipment that I learnt from the A330 that have flown through to help me build the 747.
The jumbo jet was built from scaled-down plans of an actual full-sized Boeing 747.
The main difference, of course, is there's no in-flight catering on this flight.
It takes 62 metres of wiring, 75 electronic components, 20 litres of fuel and 4 miniature jet engines to power this 65-kilo beast. Just starting her up is a feat in itself. Andrew's just weeks away from getting the final tick of approval for the plane to fly. When it does, he says it'll be quite the show.
I'm very confident that the model will fly. I've taken every calculation to ensure that it does. However, there is always unknowns with these things.
It's not takeoff Andrew's worried about.
I mean, the model will fly, but it's all up to the landing.
Never before has a Boeing 747 taken off from the tiny town of Wagen.
Wagen was very excited to know that they had a jumbo jet landing and taking off at their airfield.
But there weren't any passengers on this flight. At 5.6 metres, this is the world's largest radio-controlled model of a jumbo jet, built here in Perth by Andrew Herzfeld.
It certainly looks like the real thing when it is flying past.
We first saw the plane last year, when Andrew was still waiting on the all-clear to fly it. Andrew, the level of detail in this is incredible.
Yeah, Sinead, part of the fun of building scale model aircraft is to replicate the detail of the aircraft as much as possible, right down to the writing on the doors.
The jumbo jet took 2 years to build and cost about the same as a small car. Andrew followed scaled-down plans of an actual full-sized Boeing 747. After a lot of red tape, it was finally given the green light for takeoff.
First flight, when the throttle went to full, there was a lot of muscle clenching happening. It could crash, end up in a big fireball on the runway.
With clear weather conditions, the maiden flight was a breeze. 6 minutes of cruising before the call came to prepare for landing.
That was the most nerve-wracking part of the flight. The first approach didn't go well. I had to power up and go around, and the second approach was a lot better.
The flight was one for the history books. So important, a full-sized aircraft was asked to hold its landing until the jumbo jet was back on the ground.
Yeah, he's quite proudly saying that he's the first person to be held up landing at Wagen because of a jumbo jet.
With perfect precision and a sigh of relief, the 65-kilo Queen of the Sky touched down.
There was lots of applause.
The model is now certified and able to be flown for public display. Andrew is hoping soon he'll be able to get it side by side with a commercial Boeing 747.
They've been an amazing aircraft, they've had a big history, and soon we won't see them here in Australia. So to get this one alongside a full-size jumbo jet would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.